So hi, good afternoon. Chalo. So the last topic, I think it was Anglo-Mysore continued and then Marathas. Just give me 1 minute. Try it. So I think last class we talked about the salient features of the Maratha, sorry, Mysore, and then also the reasons for the outbreak of the war between them. So we can revise a little bit that what we did on that particular day. So basically we started with the very first thing, which is the creation of the arsenal at the Dindigul with the help of the French, and then we mentioned about the Risala system with which the army was organized, and then we also talked about the revenue administration of the Mysore, which was efficient, okay, and somehow it was closer to the Akbar system, but departing from the Mansabdari also. Then we talked about many a times it is also called as military fiscalism. Agricultural manufacturing, that was the last thing, and also the trade missions. Then the reasons for the outbreak of the war. So where we mentioned that that Hyder Ali and then later on Tipu Sultan, what they have done, that they single-handedly tried to change the equation at the buffer zones, okay? And then their desire to create a kind of centralized military state in the South India with the desire to control the entire South Indian politics, including the Maratha area, and the instructions of the Tipu Sultan, particularly in 1785 and 1788, then which led to the outbreak of these wars. So one by one we need to talk about these wars, and then we can enter in the topic of the Maratha. So that in these wars, some specific reasons are also there. Apart from the one which we have written in the beginning, some specific reasons. So very first one, when it comes to the first Anglo-Mysore war, so in the very first one, what has happened? So it started in 1767, continued till 1769. Marathas, they attacked on the Mysore, okay, due to some territorial dispute, and this territorial dispute, obviously it was because of the buffer zone, which was changed single-handedly by the Hyder Ali. So now once they have attacked on these people, so Nizam of Hyderabad, he also joined the war, and British also joined the war because they also had the similar complaints with the Mysore. So war started between these all people, okay? English very important part, so as the Maratha and Nizam. But Hyder Ali realized that it is not easy to fight with three armies, okay? And then he offered Maratha and Nizam to come to the table and have some sort of conciliation, some sort of talk. Let's settle the dispute by dialogue. So they accepted it. Maratha and Nizam, they accepted it. But British, obviously, he did not offer it to the British. He attacked on the British position at Madras. And as such, the Britishers at Madras, they had to surrender. Then, so they surrendered, and it ended with the Treaty of Madras, whereby that Hyder Ali and British, they exchanged their prisoners. They restored it as territory, and moreover, British at this point of time, they assured Hyder Ali that in future, if Mysore is attacked, okay, so if Mysore is attacked, so then they will come to the rescue of the Mysore. So this is a promise which they gave in at this point of time, but actually, this is the promise which they did not kept, okay. Later on, when the second battle is going to happen, before that only it was tested, okay? And British did not came to the rescue of the Hyder Ali. So we'll talk about that later. So you write first Anglo-Mysore War. First Anglo-Mysore War. First Anglo-Mysore War, and in this you mention, so 1767 to 69. Right. Marathas attacked on Mysore. Marathas attacked on Mysore due to due to some territorial dispute, due to some territorial dispute. Then very soon, Nizam of Hyderabad, very soon, Nizam of Hyderabad and British also entered into the war. British also entered into the war from the side of Maratha. From the side of Maratha. Then mention at this time Hyder Ali offered peace to Maratha and Nizam, and detached them from war. Then next you write Hyder Ali attacked on Madras. Which led to surrender of British. The war ended with Treaty of Madras, whereby both the sides exchanged prisoners, and British gave promise to Hyder Ali that in future if Mysore is attacked by any power, British will come to its rescue. Okay? So British will come to its rescue. So this is what was the very first war. So now listen, that as it seemed that this might have been settled by this point of time. Okay? So this might have been settled by this point of time. It's not settled by this point of time. In the very first minutes of the class, that there is a fulfillment, that within 5 minutes people decide that should I attend the class or not, and then go on with bag and baggage. Very good. कल से लॉक करवा दूंगा मैं. Obviously यार, it's very irritating. मुझे लगता है कि अरे क्या हो गया, क्यों जा रहे हो भाई? नहीं, भाई नहीं थी, बहन थी. ठीक है. So mention. So पहले सुनो. So 17, the dispute was not settled. ठीक है. And in 1771, once again Marathas attacked on the Mysore. And it's just like a situation that we see in at our own border, that India-China dispute is not getting settled. Okay? And very often, okay, it's continuing from last 3 years, and then very often rounds of talks are there, but they are not getting settled. And then Chinese are making advancement in the different area. And recently, 3 days back, there was a news about the Doklam also, okay, where they have created their villages. So same situation you can say here, that in the buffer zone, that the dialogue didn't happen in a way that was expected by the Marathas. Once again, they attacked in 1771. So when they are attacking at this point of time, So Hyder Ali expected, ठीक है, he expected that British will come to the rescue, but British were nowhere in the scene, ठीक है, they did not even inquired about it, ठीक है, कि war अच्छा चल रहा है कि नहीं. So they did not came to the rescue, and then he realized, Hyder Ali realized that he cannot trust the Britishers, ठीक है, that he trusted French who were true to their words, but British were not true to their words. So it was a lesson for him. Okay? So this 1770 war, which continued between the Maratha and Hyder Ali, once again, after the war, they settled it with the dispute. They tried to settle it with the dispute. But on the other hand, now Hyder Ali cannot trust British. So how the second war is going to start, which started in 1780, continued till 1784. So it was American War of Independence which was going on, and during the American War of Independence, Hyder Ali gave refuge to the French forces in India at port of Mahe. Okay? So French were given access to the Mahe port. They were given refuge over there. It was contested by the British. Okay? And why they will contest? Because they have the right, 1763 treaty. So they have the right. So they contested it and they sent the force towards the Mahe. So when they sent the force towards Mahe, which was in the territory of the Mysore, so it led to the beginning of the Second Anglo-Mysore War. So in the due course of the Second Anglo-Mysore War, in 1782, December, Hyder Ali died. Okay? And after his death, it seemed that the entire battle will turn in the favor of the British. So it will turn in the favor of the British, but actually it changed. 1782, Tipu Sultan entered into the war. Okay? That he became the ruler, and already he was fighting, but now he became the ruler. And he gave the further direction to the war, but he also surprised British in this war. So how he surprised British in the war? Basically, British were not expecting the kind of technology which Tipu Sultan was going to use. For the first time, Mysorean rockets were used in this particular battle. And there was a battle which was known as Battle of Polillur. So in the Battle of Polillur, Tipu Sultan was victorious. It's because of this use of these rockets. Use of these rockets. So now, earlier, British were victorious till 1782, and now till 1784, Tipu Sultan has regained pace in the war. So by 1784, it was realized that the war is going in the inconclusive direction. That some places British were victorious, but some places Tipu Sultan is victorious. So then the war ended with the Treaty of Mangalore. Okay? And Treaty of Mangalore, what happened? The Treaty of Mangalore, it restated the rights. Basically, that whatever areas were captured by each other, these were given back to each other, and then it was returning back to the status quo position. Okay? So it was returning back to the status quo position. That's it there. Then comes the third war. But before third war, what we have mentioned in 1785 and 1788, that was also the one reason. What we mentioned in 1785, what was the instruction of Tipu? You remember? That yes, black pepper and cardamom, their sale will not be allowed from any of the ports of the Malabar. And in 1788, he prohibited trade from the Britishers. But here we also need to talk about the personality of the Tipu Sultan. Earlier we mentioned about Hyder Ali, so here we also need to talk about the personality of Tipu Sultan. So though he was not as tall like his father, okay, but he was, he was very bold, he was very courageous, and it was said about him that he often kept a tiger in his court, and he was seen many a times, he was seen walking with that tiger. So that's why he was often referred as the Tiger of Mysore. Then another thing, that he was progressive in his thought process. So progressive, that some of the things which were happening in the world, he had good news of this, and then he was the follower of the Jacobin Club of the France. Okay? It is a Jacobin club which was very much involved in the French Revolution. So he was keen follower of the French Revolution and also the member of the Jacobin Club. Then it is said about him that he also sought an alliance with the Napoleon, and he supported the French Revolution. So to mark his support towards the French Revolution, he planted a tree of liberty in his capital, Seringapatam. Okay? And then it is said that he also initiated some sort of new coinage and new calendar system in the Mysore. Then there are many such parts of the Tipu Sultan's life, that different people belonging to the different political scenario, different political factions, they have different opinions about him. But though he was bit violent, very extreme also in some cases, okay? But there was one aspect of his life whereby he donated a huge money to the Sringeri Sharda Pitham. Maybe it was his belief in that particular temple. So he donated to the Sringeri Sharda Pitham, and then he was the inspiration behind this Mysorean rockets. But one more part, forget about that on the religious line, that what things would be there, and we don't need to discuss that religious lines, but basically what we need to discuss, that what was his attitude towards the British, okay? So his attitude towards the British, that he did not accept it, the British rule in India, and he was of the view that the British yoke must be thrown out of the India, for which if it is needed, that if India can enlist the help of Afghanistan or any other country, so we must do that. So then he has given one statement later on. In 1798, when Wellesley has come, okay? And Wellesley gave an option to the Tipu Sultan that either you accept subsidiary alliance system or we will fight in the battle. So then he rejected subsidiary alliance system, and then he maintained. So just listen the phrase which he used, okay? So I would better die like a soldier. These were his words. So I would better die like a soldier than a miserable dependent on the infidels, okay? Than a miserable dependent on the infidels in the list of their pensioned Rajas and Nawabs. Okay? So not only it shows that how brave he was, because he knew that he will be killed anytime, because 1798 many things have happened in the Mysore politics, and then it was very much possibility that Mysorean government could be toppled. But even in that situation, he was not going to become the pensioner of the British. But at the same point of time, many people who considered themselves to be the one of the brave people, and then the glory they were carrying, the legacy that they were carrying, they became the pensioned Rajas and Nawab. So he has taken a jibe on them also, that pensioned Rajas and Nawab. So for example, Shah Alam has become the pensioned Raja, okay? And many other people, they have become the pensioned Nawabs and pensioned Rajas. In fact, in future also, after this episode also, n number of the people will become the pensioner of the British. So for example, that Peshwa, he will also become the pensioner of the British, okay? Nana Sahib was the pensioner of the British, okay? Then Bahadur Shah, he was also Mughal, all the Mughal people, they are pensioner of the British. Only two people we encounter who never became the pensioner of the British. One was the Tipu Sultan, and another was the Begum Hazrat Mahal of Awadh. Okay? So we will talk about her in the episode of the 1857. So his personality was like that he did not wanted the British rule in India. Okay? So the second war, just listen. Okay? Third war bhi thoda discussion kar lete hain. Okay? We will write in a continuation. So second war happened in this way. Now what happened, that in between 1784 to 1790, much things are boiling in the political scenario of the Mysore. And moreover, in today's episode only if it happens, so I'll tell you that Marathas, okay, there was a first Anglo-Maratha war in 1775 to 1782, okay? And in this first Anglo-Maratha war, since it was inconclusive, so it ended with the Treaty of Salbai. In Treaty of Salbai, Maratha promised, that on the instruction of the British only, they promised that they would be supporting British in case British are fighting war with the Hyder Ali, so or Mysore. In 1790, the war started on a very trivial pretext, अब इस बात को समझना, that Dutch were winding up from India. 1759 their defeat. I hope it is fresh in your memories that they were defeated, and then they decided that slowly they will wind up their business, they will sell their properties from India. So they started selling their properties from India. One of their property was in Cochin area, and this property, I am writing the name of the property. So their habitations were there at the Jalikottal and Kannanur. So these two places, they sold the properties at these places to the ruler of Travancore. Okay? So to the ruler of Travancore, but the ruler of Travancore, he did not took the permission of Tipu Sultan, because these two areas, they came under the territory of the Mysore. Okay? So he did not took the permission of the Tipu Sultan as such. Tipu Sultan attacked on the Travancore. Britishers were just waiting for some sort of reason, and what they did, that immediately when Travancore was attacked, so they declared themselves, British declared themselves to be the friend of Travancore. And they came to the rescue of Travancore. Okay? So they jumped into the war, but not alone. Okay? They brought Nizam of Hyderabad also, and they brought Maratha also. Okay? So now it was very clear that there was no chance for Tipu Sultan to be victorious. He was thoroughly defeated, and this treaty, that the war, it ended with the treaty of his capital Seringapatnam. Okay? And as per the treaty, just listen, half of the Masurian territory, okay, there was a scramble for the territory. So half of the Masurian territory was distributed among these all people, that Travancore, Maratha, Nizam, and then British. Okay. Then after, he also paid 3.3 crore rupees to them. Okay. So 3.3 crore rupees to them. Now it was a big loss for the Tipu Sultan. Then we'll further talk about the last war mentioned. Second Anglo-Mysore War. Second Anglo-Mysore War, and इसमें date is 1780 to 84. Mention. In 1771, Marathas once again attacked on Mysore. Once again attacked on Mysore due to territorial dispute. Territorial dispute. Full stop. But at this time, British did not came to the rescue of Mysore. British did not came to the rescue of Mysore. And Hyder Ali realized that British cannot be trusted. Hyder Ali realized that British cannot be trusted. ठीक है? Then फिर mention करो trusted. Change paragraph and then you write. During the American War of Independence, Hyder Ali gave access to the Mahe port. Hyder Ali gave access to Mahe port to the French forces. It was contested by British. And they sent their force towards Mahe. Full stop. Then you write. During the course of war, Hyder Ali died. During the course of war, Hyder Ali died in 1782. Basically, it was December 1782. Full stop. After which his son, Tipu Sultan further continued the war. Full stop. He was victorious against British in the battle of Polillur. In the battle of Polillur. But at other places, British were victorious. British were victorious. ठीक है? Full stop. The war ended with Treaty of Mangalore. The war ended with Treaty of Mangalore 1784. ठीक है? You write, as per the treaty, both the sides exchanged prisoners. Both the sides exchanged prisoners and returned back each other's territory. Returned back each other's territory. Returned back each other's territory. Done? Then you write third war. So third one you write Third Anglo-Mysore War. Third Anglo-Mysore War. In this you mention 1790 to 92. So already we have mentioned, right? Dutch were selling their properties. Dutch were selling their properties in Kerala. Full stop. They sold Jallikottal. They sold Jallikottal and Kannanur. Jallikottal and Kannanur to the Travancore ruler. Jallikottal and Kannanur to the Travancore ruler, but these two areas were under the territory of Mysore. Territory of Mysore. Then, as such, after full stop, as such, Tipu Sultan attacked on Travancore. Attacked on Travancore. Soon after the beginning of war, British declared themselves. Soon after the beginning of war, British declared themselves friends of Travancore. Friends of Travancore. And they joined the war along with Maratha and Nizam. Full stop. Tipu was thoroughly defeated. And next line you write, the war ended with Treaty of Seringamapatnam. Treaty of Seringamapatnam. Mention, as per the treaty, As per the treaty, half of the Masurian territory, including Baramahal, and Dindigal was given to the allies. Tipu also paid 3.3 crore rupees, 3.3 crore rupees as war indemnity. 3.3 crore rupees as war indemnity. INDEMNITY. ठीक है? So indemnity. So that's the second war, and we will write a little bit about the Tipu also, but listen about the fourth war. So this was the third war, and now the fourth war. So already that the relationship between the Tipu Sultan and British have become very acrimonious. In the later episode, just listen a little bit, in the later episode, when we talk about the British administration, okay? So when we talk about the British administration in India, particularly in between 1770s to 1857, so there we mention about one of the act, that Pitt's India Act, which came in 1784. One of the provision of the Pitt's India Act to forbid the policy of the annexation in India, meaning that British Crown maintained that from here onwards company must not resort to the annexing the native territories. But it was the one provision of that Pitt's India Act which was not followed. Okay? Rest of the thing that followed, okay? But this was the one provision which was seldom followed, okay? Which means never followed. So it is going against that what was there in the Pitt's India Act. But we are not writing it over here. We write in the 1784, okay? So now, acrimonious relationship and then the instructions of the Tipu. So finally in 1700, in between 1792 to 1799, much things have boiled down. And moreover, Tipu did one more thing, that he wrote letters, okay? Since already his that territory size is half, and Dindigal, which was his arsenal, now it is there with the other people, okay? So now no more with him. So this is the time when he wrote a letter to the Afghanistan ruler Zaman Shah, okay? He invited him to India, and he wrote clearly in the letter that we will throw out the British from India, and then what we'll do, that we will create an Islamic state in India. So then his invitation has gone viral at that point of time. British got to know this thing, and then they started to charge seat him. Okay? So that in relation to the Afghanistan it was right, but they started falsely charge seating him, that he has also sent letters to Turkey, and then he has also sent letters to the France. So he is making some sort of alliance with them against the British authority. So at this point of time, 1798, Wellesley was the new Governor General, and he was imperialist to the core. And he is the one who formulated this policy of the subsidiary alliance system. So he gave an option to the Tipu Sultan that either you accept subsidiary alliance system, otherwise we will enter into the war. So now Tipu Sultan gave this statement at this point of time. He did not accepted it. But just like the one which happened in the Bengal, there was a traitor. His name was Mir Zafar. There was a traitor over here also. His name was Mir Sadiq. Okay? So, yes. So, Mir Zafar and Mir Sadiq, they are considered as the traitor number 1 and traitor number 2. So, why so? Because traitor number 1, because he had so much of power. Mir Sadiq didn't had that kind of power, but he had all the information. So, he is a kind of a spy, you can say. That he passed on all the information of the Mysore fort to the British, that where the unit of the army is there, which gate is weak, which gate is strong, where the treasury is there. So each and every location and everything was passed on, and they did not needed any GPS or any such technology to do that. Human mind itself is enough. Yeah, human mind itself is enough to do these all stuff. And in fact, this GPS and everything is the product of the human mind only. So now what happened? In April 1799, Wellesley attacked on the Seringamapatnam, the capital, and with these all type of the informations. He entered from the weaker side of the fort, and then finally by May only, ठीक है, within 1 month only, 1 month भी नहीं हुआ था, within 20 days only the battle was over. Tipu Sultan was captured and then he was executed, ठीक है. So he died defending his capital Seringamapatnam. And then after this battle, what has happened? The original dynasty Wadeyar, it is reinstated to the throne, ठीक है, and but with a difference, with a subsidiary alliance system, ठीक है. So we will talk about the subsidiary alliance system, not here, because the perfect place to do the discussion on subsidiary alliance system in the Maratha episode, ठीक है. So there I'll tell you all the details that what were the terms and conditions in the subsidiary alliance system, ठीक है. Now we can mention. So you write Fourth Anglo-Mysore War. Fourth Anglo-Mysore War, 1799. And you write little bit about the Tipu Sultan first, फिर war के बारे में बात करेंगे, ठीक है. So in the fourth only, you can mention Tipu Sultan, ठीक है, and write little bit. He was a bold and courageous person. He was bold and courageous person. Bold and courageous person, and also a man of innovation. And also a man of innovation. Then man of innovation. Full stop. Further you write, he was the inventor of Masurian rocket. He was the inventor of Masurian rocket, which he successfully used in Battle of Polilur. Used in Battle of Polilur. So there is a request online that I must slow down the speed of the dictation. So my suggestion that hold your pen from the point where it has been suggested. ठीक है? It's a very comfortable speed in which we are dictating, and I'm able to see that all of you are writing with that kind of speed. बहुत तेजी से लिख रहे हो, बहुत improvement हो गया तुम लोगों में. So increase your speed. Technique already has been shared with you. So mention. Then you write, he was the follower of Jacobin Club. Jacobin Club in France. Follower of Jacobin Club in France, and also the French Revolution. And also the French Revolution. To mark, after full stop, to mark his support to French Revolution, he planted, to mark his support to French Revolution, he planted Tree of Liberty at his capital, Seringamapatnam. At his capital, Seringamapatnam. Done? Then, next you write. He also sought an alliance with Napoleon. He also sought an alliance with Napoleon. Morning वाली क्लास में भी यही टॉपिक चल रहा था, यही बेंच था. Somebody wrote SHOT, sought का स्पेलिंग. ठीक है, ठीक है, तुम लोग थोड़ा आगे हो, तुम लोग सही स्पेलिंग लिखा है, ठीक है. So he sought an alliance with Napoleon. Then further you mention, you write, he also donated to Sringeri Sarada Peetham. Sringeri Sarada Peetham. He also donated to Sringeri Sarada Peetham. So this is little bit of detail. नहीं एक और ऐड करो अभी, ठीक है? He also started a new system of coinage and calendar. So now we can talk about the details related to the war, or we can write about. So change paragraph and then you mention. In 1798, Wellesley was appointed new Governor General. Full stop. He was new Governor General. He was an imperialist. To the core. He was an imperialist to the core. C-O-R-E. Core. He devised subsidiary alliance system. To further expand company's territory in India. He devised subsidiary alliance system to further expand company's territory in India. Then you mention, ठीक है? He charge seated Tipu that he was plotting against British. In alliance with Afghanistan, Turkey and France. Full stop. Wellesley offered to Tipu Sultan to join subsidiary alliance system. Done? Then you mention. So do you know want to write that statement of the Tipu which he said? So write in quote unquote, ठीक है? So I hope you understand quote unquote. Literally वही लिख मत लेना. Yeah, it happens, ठीक है? In many of the classes, not just one class, I have seen that quote unquote people have written rather than doing it, ठीक है? जैसे एक क्लास में I'll tell you that it was art and culture class and then I was teaching some stuff, ठीक है? So फिर उसके बाद then एक topic था, there was a classical dance topic that was Sataria, ठीक है? So I said that Sataria many a times and then people were writing and then said that Sataria, then उसके बाद then there were two branches of the Sataria, Gayan Bhainar Sataria, Kharmnar Sataria, and then उसके बाद then I said Yad Sataria, ठीक है? So किसी ने लिख भी लिया, 3-4 लोगों ने लिख लिया याद सतारिया। तो ऐसा मत करना, बीच में फिल्टर कर लेना, ठीक है? So mention. So what is the last thing you have written? Subsidiary alliance system. So you write, I would better die like a soldier. Tipu's statement you are writing, ठीक है? So I would better die like a soldier. Die like a soldier, comma, than a miserable dependent, on infidels, miserable dependent on infidels in their pensioned list of infidels in their pensioned list of Rajas and Nawabs, in their pensioned list of Rajas and Nawabs. ठीक है, full stop, then mention as such, after full stop and unquote, then you change the statement, mention as such it led to the beginning of, as such it led to the beginning of Fourth Anglo-Mysore War, Fourth Anglo-Mysore War in April 1799. April 1799. Tipu Sultan died defending his capital. Tipu Sultan died defending his capital, Seringamapatnam, in May 1799. In May 1799. ठीक है, change paragraph, then you mention after Tipu's defeat, Wadiyar dynasty, after Tipu's defeat, Wadiyar dynasty was reinstated in Mysore, was reinstated in Mysore, but under the subsidiary alliance system of British, but under the subsidiary alliance system of British. So this is about the Mysore. ठीक है? So we have completed almost how many? We started with the Bengal. No. We started with the Carnatic Bengal and Mysore we have completed. So now we are moving to the one from which large number of the questions are asked in the exam. ठीक है? So it is basically, when you look at the mains paper, so it is the Bengal and Maratha from where large number of questions have been asked. So now Maratha episode. Acha, I just want to know that did I mention little bit about the Marathas in the first or second class? Or any such sort of story which was in confrontation with the Aurangzeb? Yeah, and Sahu's episode I must have mentioned. Just listen. So see that whatever I'm going to share, basically you will be writing in your medieval classes. But abhi kahani ke liye tumhe sunna hai. That to know the background you need to understand. So the Maratha area, that how it was founded. So originally, Sahaji, ठीक है? He was the father of the Shivaji Bhosle, Sahaji Bhosle. So Sahaji Bhosle was the father of Shivaji and he was the ruler of the Konkan area. ठीक है? Which area is Konkan? The coast of the Maharashtra, that is Konkan. So basically that some of the part till Pune and then also Solapur, Kolhapur, this area came under that part. So he was the ruler and he had two wives. So Jijabai, who was the mother of the Shivaji, she was neglected one and she was living in Pune. In fact, the area of Pune was given to Jijabai for the maintenance of the Shivaji. So Shivaji was raised under the guidance of his guru, Dadaji Kondadev. Okay? So Dadaji Kondadev and Jijabai. But later on what happened, that when the death of the Dadaji has happened, so Shivaji has come under the influence of another Guru, Ramdas. And it is with the Guru Ramdas he learnt the art of the guerrilla warfare. And as you know, I hope you know that guerrilla warfare works perfectly in the hilly terrain. Plain area mein kaam nahi karega. But in hilly terrain, tough terrain, it works perfectly. So Shivaji became the greatest exponent of the guerrilla warfare by this point of time. And he started using this strategy. So when Aurangzeb is ascending to the power, 1759, when Aurangzeb was already there in the power, that's the time when Shivaji, he defeated and killed the Bijapur general Afzal Khan. Okay? So Aurangzeb also had intention to conquer the Bijapur and annex Bijapur in the Marathas territory. So, sorry, that Mughal territory. So now when Shivaji has defeated, so it sent an alarm to the Aurangzeb. So now next year only, Aurangzeb sent his general Sahista Khan, okay, to fight with the Shivaji, and Aurangzeb was under a hell lot of confidence that immediately I will defeat them. Then, but once again, what happened that Shivaji not only defeated Sahista Khan, but Sahista Khan was also seriously injured. Now this was further alarming situation for the Aurangzeb, and he realized that Shivaji cannot be defeated very easily. Then he persuaded Rajput ruler Jai Singh of Amer. Okay? So Jai Singh was considered as one of the most intelligent people at that point of time, because he had knowledge in many subfields. Then, so for example, he had good knowledge of mathematics, astronomy, astrology. So these all stuff, and he was intelligent, and moreover, he was also expert in the guerrilla warfare. So that's why Aurangzeb chose him. So now in 1765, Raja Jai Singh, he did a careful preparation, and in Battle of Purandar, he defeated Shivaji. So this was the only defeat in the life of the Shivaji, in which what happened that as per the treaty, by this time there were 35 forts in the that Maratha Empire. But out of that 35, Shivaji gave 23 to the Jai Singh, and he only retained 12. Okay? Moreover, one more request was made by Raja Jai Singh that Shivaji will have to visit the court of Aurangzeb at Agra. So now, it is not the Aurangzeb who has fought the battle with the Shivaji, okay? But now he visited, which Shivaji accepted, and he visited Aurangzeb's court at Agra. But in the Aurangzeb's court at Agra, he was disrespected, okay? And actually, how the first instance of the disrespect, that while all the other people of the smaller ranks, okay, they were given high chairs, and Shivaji and his son were given very small chairs, okay? So very small chairs, everybody is sitting on a very small rank officers, they are sitting on a high chair, and they were given very small chair. So they did not sit on the chairs, and they continued standing only. But it was a humiliation, and I think that you must have seen in the mythological episode also that this kind of humiliation Ravana gave to whom? Hanuman, Angad and Sugriv. Okay? So they created their own chair, and they were sitting on that. Okay? So, so anyways, here also the same thing happened. So now it continued. Then Aurangzeb maintained to Shivaji that he must accept the Maratha Mughal supremacy, which he rejected. Okay? That why the hell I will accept the Mughal supremacy when I have that you have not fought any battle with me and you have not defeated. Just because Jai Singh defeated me does not mean that you defeated me. Then, so then this confrontation, that this kind of dispute happened, and then Aurangzeb ordered to arrest Shivaji. See that this is one of the biggest treachery, then much bigger than the Mir Zafar and Mir Sadiq. Why so? It is going against the Indian tradition. You call somebody to your house and then you arrest him. Okay? So it does not makes you brave enough. If you were brave, so you could have fought the battle. Okay? And that battle must have decided that who would be victorious. So now Shivaji was put under the jail. At this point of time, Jai Singh realized, and everybody in the court, they realized that Aurangzeb is a different personality. Okay? The way they were expecting that he must be like his predecessors, he was not like predecessors. He's a different personality, and Jai Singh also started to doubt that he did a mistake. So there was a wave of sympathy. Okay? So wave of sympathy for Shivaji, and then what happened? One fruit vendor, he helped Shivaji. So a very big basket of the fruit was that it went to the place where Shivaji was locked, and the person released that he has the keys also. And then Shivaji was hiding in that particular fruit basket. At the top of that, so many fruits were kept. They escorted him out of the Agra. And that's how, when Shivaji has returned back to the Maratha area, so he took a resolve that he will not let that Aurangzeb penetrate through Deccan till his lifetime is there, which he did perfectly. So now, 1674, he performed his coronation ceremony. So this is considered as the foundation date of the Maratha Empire. And Shivaji celebrated his coronation ceremony. So till 6 year, ठीक है, till 6 year, that is 1680, Aurangzeb did not attack on the Maratha area and he did not moved ahead also. In 1680, when the death of the Shivaji has happened, so then Aurangzeb first decided to dedicate his time towards the Bijapur and Golconda. That's how he captured Bijapur in 1686 and Golconda in 1687. Then in 1689, Aurangzeb captured son of Shivaji, the eldest son of Shivaji, Sambhaji, and the Sambhaji's son, his name was Sahu. Sahu and also the wife of Sambhaji. Okay? So these three people, they were literally kidnapped from their house. Okay? They were taken as a prisoner to the Mughal court. Sambhaji was hacked to the death, very brutal death, and Sahu and the wife, they were kept the prisoner from 1689 till 1707. Okay? It is in 1707 that Bahadur Shah first decided to release Sahu from the Mughal captivity. And I think we mentioned that why he released him. So why he released? For fight between Tarabai and him. So just listen, timeline here also we will write, just like in that Bengal episode we have written. So after, just listen. So 1689, Sambhaji was captured. The younger son of the Shivaji, his name was Raja Ram. Okay? So now after Sambhaji is in jail or he is hacked to death, so 1689 to 1700, the younger son of the Shivaji, Raja Ram, was the Chhatrapati in Maratha area. Chhatrapati means the king. So he was Chhatrapati. Then when his death has happened in 1700, Tarabai, she became the ruler. Basically, she was regent of her minor son, Shivaji II. Okay? Meaning the grandson of the Shivaji. Okay? Or son of the Raja Ram. So minor son of Raja Ram became the ruler and Tarabai was the regent. And then 1707, Sahu was released from the jail and then there was a scuffle between the Tarabai and Sahu for the Peshwaship. Okay? So for the, not Peshwaship, for the rulership. And this dispute, though, the Mughal ruler Bahadur Shah expected that it will further lead to the dilution of the powers of the Maratha, but it did not happen. Okay? The dispute was solved, Sahu was recognized as the ruler and Tarabai was given enough area for her son, and then a new person further rose in positions in the Maratha politics, that was the house of Peshwa, the person Peshwa. So we'll talk about the Peshwa little bit more later on. So this is the initial background of the story. So please start with the timeline. So you write Maratha. Topic is Maratha, and then so 1674, foundation of Maratha Empire. Foundation of Maratha Empire by Shivaji. Basically, it was his coronation ceremony. Then 1680, this is the death of Shivaji Maharaj, and then so 80 to 89, 80 to 89 is the rule of Sambhaji. So Sambhaji is Chhatrapati in this period. Then 89 to 1700, Raja Ram. If you want, you can write in the brackets, he was younger son of Shivaji. Younger son of Shivaji. Done? Then next you mention 1700 to 1707. What I'm doing? Shivaji II is the ruler. Shivaji II, and in brackets you write son of Raja Ram. Son of Raja Ram. Then further write Shivaji II was under the regency of his mother Tarabai. Under the regency of his mother Tarabai. So now listen. After writing this, so once again, Bahadur released Sahu from the captivity, and when Sahu was released, so that acrimony started, or basically the scuffle started between the Tarabai and Sahu. So now in this particular dispute, there was this person, his name is Balaji Vishwanath. Okay? He not only settled the dispute between the two, whereby Sahu was recognized as the Chhatrapati, and then Balaji Vishwanath acquired more powers for himself. Okay? So he became the Peshwa, the first Peshwa with the renewed power. But he was not the first Peshwa. Who was the first Peshwa? See, Balaji Vishwanath is the first Peshwa with the renewed powers. Okay? But the first Peshwa, just listen a little bit. First Peshwa was Moropant Pingle. Okay? So, Moropant Pingle. And Moropant Pingle, he became the Peshwa at the time of the Shivaji. Basically, it is Shivaji who created the system of Ashtapradhan. Okay? Ashtapradhan, basically, the system of 8 ministers. Okay? So out of these 8 ministers, the most important minister was the Peshwa, okay? Prime Minister. And then came the other minister, for example, Majumdar. Okay? So Majumdar was the finance minister. Then Wakia Navees, interior minister. Okay? So interior minister meaning that home minister. Sur Navees. Okay? So Sur Navees is the foreign minister. Okay? Then Dabir or Sumant. So Dabir or Sumant, he was also that related to the correspondence. Then there was another minister, Nyayadhis. Okay? So Nyayadhis is the Chief Justice. Pandit Rao, religious affair. Okay? So these were the positions and Sare Naubat, the military general. Okay? So these were the 8 ministerial system. Okay? 8 ministerial system, and moreover, Prime Minister was the most important one. So Moropant Pingle was the first Prime Minister or Peshwa at the time of Shivaji. But these positions were on the basis of this capacity, capability. Okay? Merit के basis पे था. ऐसे नहीं था कि hereditary है. But these positions were made hereditary. Basically, the house of the Peshwa was made hereditary by the Balaji Vishwanath. Okay? So, using his diplomatic tactics, he made it hereditary, and that's how. That's why we say that he is the first Peshwa with the renewed powers. You're getting it? Okay? Do you want to write these 8 ministers? लिखना है? तो लिखो, थोड़ा सा लिखो. पहले लिखो. Before going into the Sahu, Shivaji started Ashtapradhan system. Shivaji started Ashtapradhan system. I'm writing here. Okay? So Ashtapradhan system, whereby 8 ministers were appointed, who are as follows. Then mention number 1. You write Peshwa. Peshwa is Prime Minister. Then you write Majumdar, Finance Minister. Then you mention Wakia Navis. Wakia Navis, this is interior minister. You can call in today's time, it is home minister. Surnavis, he is secretary. Surnavis is secretary. Then you write Dabir or Sumant. Foreign minister. Sumant, foreign minister. How many we have written? 5 we have written. Just give me one moment. 3 more. Sare Naubat. Sare Naubat. And this is military general. Or chief of army, you can say. Then you write Nyayadhis. Nyayadhis. Chief Justice. And Pandit Rao, religious minister. So Nyayadhis is Chief Justice and Pandit Rao is religious minister. Religious minister. Done. So these were the 8 ministerial systems started by the Shivaji. ठीक है? So now you write. लिख लिया सब लोग? Done. So mention. अच्छा, इसको याद कैसे करोगे? See, that questions are asked on this end also. For example, in Delhi Sultanate also, in Mughal period also, very often they ask about the departments, the original names and then what kind of departments. For example, in medieval period you read about Diwane Arij, Diwane Kharaj, ठीक है? Diwane Vizarat, ठीक है? So these different type of the departments were there. You need to remember. कभी-कभी matchmaking questions are there. So better idea to remember this one, that for example, you can say that our home minister is Wakia Navis. Okay? So, so this way, just that attribute some names to them. And that's how it becomes little easy, not very easy. Moreover, in the subject of the history, wherever some more facts are there, you always have the option of creating mnemonics. You know what is mnemonics? So I hope you know mnemonics. So you can create different type of mnemonics, but the mnemonics must be yours. Sometimes the borrowed mnemonics works, but once you create the mnemonics, that works perfectly for you. And that's how you are able to retain hell lot of information. So it helps a lot. Do that. Okay? And just like Tipu Sultan, you also must be innovative in this regard. Okay? So now, वैसे तो विजन आईएएस में आने के बाद इनोवेशन ही हमारा नाम है, ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे सब इनोवेटिव हो जाते हैं, ठीक है? आज की क्लास में भी कुछ इनोवेटिव हम लोग करेंगे लास्ट में, ठीक है? No, there is not any classical performance today. Then, so you mentioned, you're right. In 1707, in 1707, Sahu was released from Mughal captivity. Sahu was released from Mughal captivity. Mughal captivity. After his release, scuffle started between, I'll not tell you spelling, पता ही नहीं है मेरे को भी, तो क्या मैं बताऊंगा? Scuffle started between, yeah, that's right, you have written right spelling. मैं तुम्हारा वाला देख के बाकी लोगों को बता दूंगा, ठीक है? Started between Tarabai and Sahu. Tarabai and Sahu regarding regarding the position of Chhatrapati, regarding the position of Chhatrapati. Full stop. In this dispute, Peshwa Balaji Vishwanath, Peshwa Balaji Vishwanath emerged as Peshwa Balaji Vishwanath emerged as a very important figure, who not only solved the dispute, but also with his diplomacy received renewed powers for himself. ठीक है. So this is about the beginning. Now we are going to start with the rise of the Peshwas. So please write a heading, rise of Peshwas. Rise of Peshwas. So now, in this one, so first you can mention Balaji Vishwanath, his name, his timeline. 1713 to 1720. 1713 to 1720. So listen, that first of all, what were the changes? So with his diplomacy, he turned the office of the Peshwa into a hereditary position. So which means that after him, it is his son who would be the next Peshwa. Earlier it was not a hereditary position, but now onwards it is a hereditary position. So who were the Peshwas? Basically the Balaji Vishwanath. So Balaji Vishwanath belonged to the Chitpavan Brahmin community of Maharashtra. Okay? They were one very important Brahmin community, and if you look into the other details of this community, so they were monogamous by tradition. Okay? I hope you understand what is monogamous, meaning that they can take only one wife in their lifetime. Okay? They are not allowed to marry with the 2 people, 3 people at one point of time. Though it was prevalent in the society in India, different places, but they were monogamous by the tradition. Moreover, this was this was a one community which was good in number in the Maharashtra. And later on, in the last episode, that in the later episodes of the freedom struggle, when we talk about the Gandhi, and then though we do not mention his assassination, but Nathuram Godse, okay, he belonged to the same Chitpavan Brahmin community. Okay? So let's come back to this part. So now he has made his office hereditary. One more thing which he did, that he is the one who secured the Mughal order of right of collection of the Chauth and Sardes Mukhi. Okay? So right of collection of the Chauth and Sardes Mukhi of the Deccan. Then another very important initiative of his life, that is he consolidated the Maratha Confederacy, and we call this Maratha Confederacy as, any idea? Batao? Saranjami system. So he consolidated Maratha Confederacy, Saranjami system. So let's have a discussion on this Saranjami system. What is this Saranjami system? So first of all, who started this Saranjami system in the Maratha area? So it was the Chhatrapati Raja Ram. He initiated the Saranjami system. Okay? The younger son of the Shivaji. So what was the purpose? What was this Saranjami system? So basically this Saranjami system was like the Jagirdari system of the Mughal. In Jagirdari, we call Jagir as a piece of land. Here, the piece of land is called as Saranjam. Okay? So Saranjam is a piece of land. And This piece of land was given to the key Maratha Sardars. Listen carefully. This piece of land temporarily it was given to the key Maratha Sardar to seek their loyalty. Okay? So Raja Ram started this as a tradition that whereby he is granting land for the temporary period to the Maratha Sardar to seek their loyalty and also to seek their military support. You're getting it? It's exactly like the Jagirdari. Jagirdars granted the land for the temporary period and what they are providing? Military support. Okay? So here also. So this was the system, but when Balaji Vishwanath has come to power, what he did that this piece of land or saranjam which is temporary, okay, now it was turned into the permanent. Okay? So there we were calling, whenever a piece of land is becoming permanent, so that piece of land we called Vatan. So now here also Saranjam has become Vatan. Okay? So he changed the status of the Saranjam to Vatan, meaning that it became permanent, okay, and hereditary also. So when it is permanent, so obviously it is hereditary. So this is the change that he brought into the system. Okay? Mention. You're right. With his diplomacy, he turned the office of Peshwa. With his diplomacy, he turned the office of Peshwa into a hereditary position. Into a hereditary position. Full stop. He also secured the Mughal order. He also secured the Mughal order which recognized. He also secured the Mughal order which recognized. It's too cold. Yes. No, I'm feeling it. ठीक है? उसको ये वाला भी करना है. These all. ठीक है? Which all? Raise your hands. सब के सब. ठीक है. बंद तो नहीं होगा. बंद होगा तो फिर then we will not be able to function actually. ठीक है? Meanwhile, what we can do that some of the cold air can go from this side. So just give me 1 minute. That's the one. It has started. Chalo. What you are writing? Secured the Mughal order which recognized Maratha right of Chauth and Sardes Mukhi of Deccan. Chauth and Sardes Mukhi of Deccan. Chauth and Sardes Mukhi of Deccan. Full stop. He also consolidated Maratha Confederacy Saranjami system. Maratha Confederacy Saranjami system. Then you write, it was, you write about the, you can write a separate title Saranjami system and then we can mention it separately. Okay? Saranjam was piece of land. Saranjam was piece of land given for temporary period. Saranjam was piece of land given for temporary period. Full stop. It was initiated by Chhatrapati Raja Ram. It was initiated by Chhatrapati Raja Ram. ठीक है? अच्छा, there is a temple in Orchha. ठीक है? Anybody from Orchha in this class? Madhya Pradesh? No one. There is a temple in Orchha the name of the temple is also Raja Ram. ठीक है? It's one of the UNESCO heritage temple. ठीक है? You might not be knowing. So generally, that when UPSC at one point of time UPSC asked a question, and in state pieces also they asked a question. So going by this, that one of the option was given that it was dedicated to the Chhatrapati Raja Ram. So there were options which were given. No, it's not dedicated to the Chhatrapati Raja Ram, but in fact it is dedicated to Lord Ram. Okay? But the thing is that in this temple of the Orcha, Raja Ram temple of the Orcha, Lord Ram is not worshipped as the God, but he is worshipped as the king of Ayodhya. Okay? So that is one question which was asked way back. Ab to nahi aaya hai, but way back. So here, that's why we need to write Chhatrapati Raja Ram. Then further you mention, initiated by Chhatrapati Raja Ram to seek the loyalty, loyalty of key Maratha Sardars, to seek the loyalty of key Maratha Sardars. Then you write loyalty of key Maratha Sardars. In return, they provided military support. Full stop. Then you write military support. Balaji Vishwanath changed Saranjam to Vatan. Changed Saranjam to Vatan, which means the grant became permanent, and hereditary. The grant became permanent and hereditary. Okay? So and hereditary. So that's about this. Okay? Hereditary. So this is about the Saranjami system. So this is all about the Balaji Vishwanath. He died in 1720. There is one episode we have mentioned earlier, that he was the one who assured the Mughal emperor that 15,000 soldier troop would be created, and then also when Farrukhsiyar was assassinated, so he was also supporting the Sayyid brothers. So 1720 when he has died, so his son Bajirao first has come to that he has assumed the responsibility and he has become the next Peshwa. So in fact, out of all the Peshwas, he is the most celebrated and he was the most genuine Peshwa of this time. So Bajirao first you can write as a title, and let's have a discussion on him. 1720 to 1740. So listen, when he assumed the responsibility. So at this point of time, and listen, still Chhatrapati is the ruler and Peshwa is the functional head. Okay? So he is functional head. Still Sahu is alive. So now, so when he came to power, so he made a statement, okay? Very popular statement, and his statement was, let us strike on the withering tree. He was referring to the Mughals, okay? That they are the withering tree. And 1720 is the time when Muhammad Shah Rangila was in power. So already the Mughal area has started to fragment, okay? That Awadh was created, Bengal was created, and Hyderabad was created. So this is what he is calling as a withering tree. So let us strike on the withering tree and the branches will fall apart themselves. So who he is calling as a branches? Hyderabad, Awadh and Bengal. Okay? So these successor states. Then he further says that let us establish Hindu Padpadasahi. Okay? So let us establish Hindu Padpadasahi, which means that a Hindu republic, a Hindu state at each and every place where existed the Islamic state. So this is what was his first statement. Then he is considered as one of the greatest exponent of the guerrilla warfare after Shivaji. Okay? So after Shivaji, definitely he was the greatest exponent. Then in his entire military career of 20 years, he never faced any defeat. Okay? He never faced any defeat, and he was always victorious. Then another aspect of his life, that it is he who picked up Scindias and Holkars for the important role. Later on, we talk about some of the important houses of the Maratha, which included Gaikawads of Baroda, okay? Scindias of which area? Gwalior. Holkars of Indore, then Bhosle of Nagpur, and Peshwas of Pune. So these were the 5 important houses of the Maratha, in which he picked up Scindias and Holkars for the important role, and they are going to play a very vital role in the Maratha politics in the upcoming years. Then moreover, in 1739, he has defeated the Nizam of Hyderabad, and as per the Treaty of Bhopal, he has regained mastery over the Malwa. Okay? So Malwa has come under the area of the Maratha. But another interesting part of his life, he is also known for his love affair. Okay? Though we can mention it just in one line, okay? But story part. Okay? So as I hope you know, okay, that his love affair with the Mastani. So how it all started, that it was ruler of the Bundelkhand, Raja Chhatrasal. Okay? So he was attacked by Muhammad Bangash, and at this point of time he was in the dire need of the support. So once he sent the letter to the Bajirao, he was already in some sort of war. So he did not give any assurance to come. Then that Raja Chhatrasal tried his trick, and then he sent his daughter Mastani to make the proposal. Okay? So when Mastani has went over there, when Bajirao saw the beauty of the lady, she was divine beauty, and then he got infatuated. He said, yes, okay, I'll be there. Then, so then it was compulsion. Okay? And see that who can refuse that such a beautiful proposal. So then he went, and then he defeated Muhammad Bangash. So after the defeat, obviously, that as a token of gratitude, things would be given to him. So Raja Chhatrasal, he made an offer that he will give the area of the Jhansi and Kalpi to the Bajirao. Okay? So he accepted Jhansi and Kalpi. But moreover, one more proposal was there, that he must marry Mastani. Okay? But it was against the family traditions of the Peshwas. Okay? That's why I mentioned that they, by the tradition, they were monogamous in tradition, belong to the Chitpavan Bhat Brahmin community of Maharashtra. So it would have been a crime or sin in their house. But what happened, that in Bundelkhand there was this tradition that if a dagger is gifted to someone, okay, dagger is a kind of a proposal that you accept the marriage, and if somebody accepts it, so it means that he has accepted the marriage proposal. So this is what happened, and he accepted that dagger. Okay? He forgot that what his family traditions were there, and then he accepted everything. So then he got married also, and then after, when they are coming to the house, so there was a heavy protest from the side of the mother, and then also Chimaji Appa, okay, who was the brother of the Peshwa. So they were not liking this thing, and then there was a huge uproar in the family. In fact, the first wife of the Peshwa, Kasibai, okay, see, nobody will like this thing. Okay? So this was a surprise. But Bajirao tried to conciliate the family, tried to pacify them by the reason that I didn't knew that Qatar means that accepting the marriage. And then they must have said that we know that it happened by a mistake. Then, so anyways, but she was not accepted within the family. So that's how the Sanivar Vada, okay, that was created where she was living. And then later on in the later episodes, what has happened, that the Kasi has become amenable to the this Mastani. But problem with the Mastani, in the eye of the society or in the eye of his family, she was daughter of a Muslim wife of the Raja Chhatrasal. Okay? That was one problem which mother was objecting to. And moreover, another thing, that Mastani, she was follower of two things. She was follower of the Pradami Sampradaya. Do you have any idea what is Pradami Sampradaya? It is dedicated to Lord Krishna. But in this Sampradaya, they worship Lord Krishna as the deity of love, God of love. Okay? So she was not only subscribed to the Pradami Sampradaya, but she was also practicing the religion of her mother. Okay? So that was a bone of contention. That's why family was not accepting her. That In some exceptions, two marriage must have been allowed, but this was not acceptable to them. And then what happened? So this episode is going on, and the eldest son of the Bajirao first was the Nana Sahib, okay, with Kasi. But there came a time when both the ladies were pregnant at the same point of time. And as you know, okay, that Baji does not discriminate between anyone, okay. So they were pregnant at the same point of time. Then, don't laugh, okay. Listen. So now that they have given the birth to the child, and as per the Hindu tradition, the nomenclature must happen. Namakaran samskar. In fact, in your ancient classes, you read about the Solah samskar. Okay? So one of the very important sanskar is the Namakaran sanskar. And in fact, okay, since I would not come to that class, but anyways, you need to know about this samskar. They are very important. And as per the Hinduism, if in your life that this 16 samskar or 16 samskar hasn't happened, so then you cannot achieve moksha. Purushartha. Okay? What is Purushartha? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So moksha is the ultimate aim in the Hinduism. So these all happen. So some of the these samskars are starting from the Garbhadhan sanskar, okay? Then Namakaran is very important. In fact, you must have seen Annaprasan samskar, which is basically the first time the child is given the solid food, okay? Solid food, that is Annaprasan. Then Chudakaran, basically that Mundan, what you call Mundan. So there are n number, but one more, that last two sanskar are also equally important. The last one is the Antesti sanskar. Antesti is that after the death, your last rites must be performed. And many cases in COVID it has happened that last rite is not performed. So if any of this samskar is not done in your life, so you cannot achieve moksha. And before the this particular samskar of the Antesti is the Vivaha samskar. So see, if you don't get married, you cannot attain moksha. So jaldi se selection lo, मोक्ष की प्राप्ति करो, ठीक है. सो नाउ नामकरण संस्कार वापस आते हैं, ठीक है. विवाह भी जरूरी है. अब 6 अटेम्प्ट हो गए, कितने दिन तक तैयारी करोगे? देखो पहले 4 अटेम्प्ट थे, ठीक है, अब 6 हो गए. तो पंचवर्षीय योजना लेके मत बैठना, ठीक है, कि 5 साल तक तैयारी करते रहेंगे और फिर किसी साल में हो जाएगा. जल्दी से जल्दी लो, 2 से 3 साल में. So now namakaran sanskar they refused. The Hindu priests who were there, so they refused to do the namakaran of the son of the Bajirao. So that's how when it was refused. So what happened? That after this he named his son as Samser Bahadur. Okay? He did not. Earlier there was that they were going to name him Krishna. Okay? But now they changed it to Samser Bahadur. But after the death of the Bajirao first in 1740, Mastani also died. It is said that their love bond was so strong that the moment he died, Mastani also, when she heard the news, he also died. But Kasi, she took care of the Samser also, and she made sure that some of the territory must be given to the Samser Bahadur. So Samser was given the territory of the Bundelkhand, Kalpi, Jhansi, these all areas. And then also in the third battle of the Panipat, 1761, he fought on the side of his brothers, okay, and Nana Sahib, and then he died in that battle, okay. So this is overall story of the Bajirao's first and his legacy. You mentioned he was greatest exponent. He was greatest exponent of guerrilla warfare after Shivaji. Greatest exponent of guerrilla warfare after Shivaji. Then next you write after assuming responsibility, he made a statement. Right, in quote unquote. Let us strike on the withering tree. Let us strike on the withering tree. Withering tree. In brackets you can write Mughals. And the branches will fall off themselves. Fall off themselves. Branches will fall off themselves. Full stop. Then further you write, let us establish Hindu Pad Pad Sahi. Hindu Pad Pad Sahi. So you can write in brackets Hindu kingdom everywhere. Hindu kingdom everywhere. Done? Then you write, in his entire military career of 20 years, he never faced any defeat. He never faced any defeat. Any defeat. Full stop. It was he who picked up Scindias and Holkers, who later played very important role in Maratha politics. Very important role in Maratha politics. Full stop. Then you write, in 1739, he defeated Nizam of Hyderabad. He defeated Nizam of Hyderabad, and as per the Treaty of Bhopal, he received the area of Malwa. He received the area of Malwa. ठीक है? He received the area of Malwa. Earlier, he supported Bundelkhand ruler. He supported Bundelkhand ruler Chhatrasal. Bundelkhand ruler Chhatrasal against Muhammad Bangash. After which Chhatrasal gave the area of Kalpi and Jhansi to Bajirao. Kalpi and Jhansi to Bajirao. Then mention, he also got married with Chhatrasal's daughter Mastani. She also got married with Chhatrasal's daughter Mastani. So we will talk about the Nana Sahib after the break. ठीक है? So next Peshwa after the break, and moreover Battle of Panipat, third Battle of Panipat. ठीक है? Now let's move to the next topic, which is the after the death of the Bajirao. You guys are seeing me from some surprise. क्यों? अरे वो घर ले जाके उस पे ना चने खाने के लिए दिया है। बिस्किट भी रख सकते हो, ठीक है, पर्पस होगा बट लेटर ऑन। सो नाना साहेब हैज कम टू पावर, ठीक है, he has assumed the Peshwaship. So now listen. 1740, the eldest son of the Bajirao first, he has come to power. Moreover, Nana Sahib was considered as the one of the most powerful Peshwas because at this point of time, the Maratha territory has expanded in many directions. In fact, at this point of time, it was said that his rule extended from Cuttack to Attock. Okay? So Cuttack in Bhubaneswar, in Odisha, and Attock in Afghanistan. Okay? So such was the extension of the Maratha power at this point of time. Then the next thing is that 1749, Chhatrapati Sahu, his death happened, and after his death, the Sangola agreement was signed between the important leaders of that time and also the Peshwa. So as per the Sangola agreement, there was no requirement of rulers separately, and all the powers of Chhatrapati were transferred to the Peshwa, and Peshwa from here onwards, he became the de facto ruler. Okay? So he became the de facto ruler. That's one part. Then after this acquiring this power, this is the time when he started to invade Bengal, Bihar, Odisha. And in Bengal episode already we have mentioned that he was given, he was handed over Odisha, and then he was also assured that Bengal Nawab will be giving 1.25 lakh annual payment. Then, so this is all fine. Then we need to go back to the later Mughal period. In later Mughal period, if you remember 1748 to 54, when Mughal emperor was Ahmad Shah and the invader Abdali. So Abdali captured Multan and Punjab from the Mughals. Okay? So this has happened in between 1748 to 54. Now after 54, Nana Sahib, okay, he started moving in the directions of the northwest, and then he overran Punjab. Okay? He occupied Lahore. He expelled the agents of Abdali from the Punjab. So when this has happened, this became the major bone of contention between the Maratha and Abdali, which led to the third battle of Panipat in 1761. So we need to elaborately talk about this third battle of Panipat in 1761. You write a few words about the Nana Sahib. So mention, but he did not he ascended to the power with the same name Nana Sahib. He ascended to the power with the name of the Balaji Bajirao. So you will be writing the name Balaji Bajirao. Balaji Bajirao, next Peshwa. In brackets, if you want, you can write Nana Sahib. 1740 to 61. His father for 20 years, he is for 21 years. So you write. He was the most successful of all Peshwas. Of all Peshwas. His rule extended from Cuttack to Attock. Attock. Cuttack to Attock. Then you write, in 1749, Chhatrapati Sahu, in 1749, Chhatrapati Sahu died. Chhatrapati Sahu died, after which Sangola agreement was signed. Sangola agreement was signed. As per the agreement, all the powers of Chhatrapati was transferred to Peshwa. All the powers of Chhatrapati was transferred to Peshwa, and he became de facto ruler. He became de facto ruler. De facto ruler. ठीक है? Change paragraph. Nana Sahib invaded Bengal. Nana Sahib invaded Bengal, after which Odisha was handed over. After which Odisha was handed over to him. Odisha was handed over to him, and he was assured 1.25 lakh annual payment. 1.25 lakh annual payment. You right? Mention. After 1755, he overran Punjab. He overran Punjab and occupied Lahore. By expelling the agents of Abdali. Which led to, so you can write a separate title, Third Battle of Panipat. So Third Battle of Panipat. This is the last one, and moreover, 1761. So listen. So in the Third Battle of Panipat, what all things are going to happen? Not just the details of the war, but actually the analysis of the Maratha failure also. Okay? So first of all, when we talk about the 18th century India, the only people, the only regional power which had the capacity to create an pan-India empire, that was the Maratha. Okay? So they had that kind of capacity to do that. And moreover, the way they were victorious in all the directions, it also proved the point. But the problem with the Marathas, that there was not any intention to create an all-India empire. Okay? So how come we can say that there was not an intention to create an all-India empire, which is very much seen from what they are doing after the raid or invasion. So they have gone in the direction of the Odisha also, okay? And they have gone in the direction of the northwest also. They are victorious in the south also, okay? They have defeated Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan, okay? So they are victorious in all the directions. But their problem was that beyond some areas, okay? Beyond the area of the Malwa and Khandes, except these two areas, and Deccan also, okay? So Malwa, Khandes and Deccan, there was not a single place where there was a semblance of administration of the Marathas. For example, that what I mean by this semblance of administration, where they are winning the Punjab area, they need to create some sort of administration over there. When they are winning Odisha, they need to put some sort of administration over there. When they are winning some parts from the Karnataka, they need to put some administration over there. But they did not resorted to these all kind of thing. So the question arises that why they are not putting any administration. So their idea was very clear that they wanted to maximize their revenue, not the responsibilities. Okay? It's just a thought process which Robert Clive had, okay? Which the company had in 1765, that they want to maximize their profits rather than responsibilities. So the problem was in this, that when you are not owning the responsibility, meaning that you are not keeping the administration, so then the area that you have captured, though it might be giving you some annual payment, okay? But what happens? Somebody else's will come, he will capture that area and you will not get that money also. Okay? So this is on this end they were not thinking, and this was one of the biggest loophole in their strategy. Even after winning Punjab, they have not put any administration, and as such, Punjab was again to be reoccupied by the Abdali. Okay? So a severe blow was dealt to the Maratha pride by Abdali in the third battle of the Panipat. Okay? So now in the third battle of Panipat, as you know, that it was unimaginable that mighty Marathas would be defeated, but they got defeated. Okay? So there were many reasons. First of all, their policy itself. The Maratha policy of raid was, it created many enemies for themselves. So raid is basically not a formal war strategy. It is an informal war strategy. So informal, and moreover, see that, don't attribute the raids to the Chhatrapatis. Okay? It more started to happen in the regime of the Peshwas, and particularly during the regime of the Nana Sahib. Okay? So the raids were not an effective strategy, and moreover, it created new enemies every day. Okay? So new enemies every day. So large number of the people from the Indian population, they became the enemies of the Maratha, which included the Jats and which included the Awadh ruler Sujaud-Dawla. And on the other hand, Rohillas were already their enemies. Then on the other hand, when Abdali has come to India, so Abdali had the support of Rohillas. He also got the support of the Jats, and then also the Awadh ruler Sujaud-Dawla. Moreover, Abdali was technologically little superior than the Marathas because he brought swivel guns in his army. Okay? And Marathas were fighting with the traditional weapons. Moreover, the third battle, why they were defeated? The most important strength of the Maratha, what was the most important strength? Guerrilla warfare. But this third battle of Panipat is happening in the plain area. So their guerrilla warfare tactics was not effective. They could have won even without that. But the problem was that they were taken out from their comfort zone. So when you are taken out from your comfort zone, so first of all, you are a little bit confused that what to do, what not to do. So despite they being very powerful, they were defeated. Okay? But this defeat was not easy. It's not like that Abdali defeated and Abdali got so many things. This battle was equally injurious to both of them. Okay? Marathas also and Abdali also. So it is said that near about 50,000 casualties happened in this war. Okay? And since Marathas were that large in numbers, so their casualties were also large in number. But Abdali also suffered a great number of casualties. And moreover, the Abdali's problem was very different. Okay? That this battle is not fought in the Maratha area, so he cannot loot the money. Okay? He will not get, after this defeat, he is not going to get any money. Okay? And moreover, that after this, he did not receive any such big amount, and moreover, he has emptied his own treasury at his own place. So his problems were also grave, though he is fighting the war, but this war was more of a ego, less of a economy. Okay? So though both of them did not benefited from it. So who benefited from this battle? Yes, it is the British who benefited from the battle. So it is said about the Panipat battle that Panipat battle did not decided that who would rule India. Dhyan se sunna. This is a very popular phrase about the Panipat battle. That Panipat battle did not decided that who would rule India, but rather it decided who would not. And who comes in this category? Who would not? Maratha and Abdali. Okay? Both were eliminated for the Indian Empire, and then it paved the way for the rise of the British rule in India. It paved the way for the strengthening of the British roots in India, and then 1761 onwards, you have seen n number of the victories of the British. Okay? So they have defeated, okay? 1761 ke onwards dekhna. They have defeated the French, okay? They have defeated the they have gone into the battle of Buxar. And then onwards, you see these all regional power that defeat, but final victory is the British victory. So this is how that they are on a trajectory where there is no looking back for them. So this is what is one very important battle. Then another thing which often people ask, though nowadays a very ready availability of answer is there, but when the question was asked in 2015 mains, so nobody knew that exact answer. And when we all, people of the coaching industry, we did some sort of discussion and then some sort of head scratching, hai? Then these all book walas, kitab walas, hai? They all have written ki dekho yahi answer hai, hai? So the question is that why very often Panipat was chosen as the location of the war. Very often it was chosen as the location of the war. So answers are invited from your side. I'll put some. I'll give some of the that inputs in this one. But let's start. चलो let's move to the next point. Yes. एक एक करके. Ammunition can easily be carried. ठीक है. और basically that it's very close to Delhi, and from very swiftly that all the weapons and everything can be yes, it can proceed to the Panipat. So it will not take so much of time. Moreover, there was large number of the artisans who were creating and the people who were who had the knowledge of weapon making. So they were in this area and they were supplying weapons to the army. Then what else? इंडस रिवर तो बहुत दूर हो गया बच्चा, ठीक है. Yes, Yamuna, ठीक है. So in between Indus and Yamuna there is a near about distance of the 1600 kilometers. चलो, and then what else? Grand Trunk Road, fertile land. और कुछ बताओ यार, मजा नहीं आ रहा है. Climate. But actually, it is not working in their favor. If they would have invited Abdali, if the battle would have happened in their own area, so they would have been victorious. कुछ और आंसर? वो तो मैं समझ गया, ठीक है, स्ट्रैटेजी, ठीक है, और मैं भी ये भी समझ गया कि पानीपत हरियाणा में है. So just listen, ठीक है. So it means that you guys are very true that you are not. पिछली वाली क्लास में, ठीक है, मॉर्निंग वाली क्लास में कुछ लोग किताब खोल के बैठे थे, उसमें से पढ़ के बता रहे थे कि सर हाँ वही वाली किताब जो गाइड बुक है, ठीक है. वो लोग भी, स्पेक्ट्रम वाले भी हम लोग की क्लासेस देख रहे होते, ये लोग क्या डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं, फिर लिख लेते हैं, ठीक है. सो दे डू दिस ऑल, बट एनीवेज लिसन. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल लेट्स हैव अ लुक एट द मैप ऑफ इंडिया, ठीक है, and I'll give you reasons which are different from the books which have mentioned, ठीक है. So just some of them, obviously they are good reasons, but first have a look at the location. So the place. So now you can say Panipat over here. Then what are hill ranges are here, ठीक है. So this area, which hill range? Any idea? Pamir Knot. This is Pamir Knot, ठीक है. Then after Pamir Knot, which hill range? This is Trans Himalayas, ठीक है, Trans Himalaya. Then you have three hill ranges of Himalaya, ठीक है. So Himalayas. Then this area, very good, exactly, Hindu Kush. Then Suleiman and Kirtahar, exactly. So now one more thing. If you look at all the three Panipat battle, very first one, 1526, fought between Babur and Ibrahim Lodi, ठीक है. So Babur and Ibrahim Lodi. So who was victorious in this one? Babur, ठीक है. Then second battle, Bairam Khan, Hemu. Who was victorious? Bairam Khan. And in this you already know, Abdali and Maratha. All of them, they are invaders. The victorious people, they came from this side. The people of the country, they did not won the battle, ठीक है. So these passes which are here, ठीक है, they were strategic passes, and these strategic passes, what happened that whenever these invaders they are entering from this area, so the rulers of India, they didn't had ounce of idea that who is entering from this side, because it was strategically located that whoever is entering from this side, he will be invisible. And in fact, if you go to the Pakistani side of the Punjab, so there is also a hell lot of hill range. In fact, in the Indian side of the Punjab, Pathankot is a hilly area, ठीक है. So the hilly area starts. So till this point there is so much of hill, and then यहाँ पे Islamabad, Peshawar, and these all areas are there which are hilly areas. So they were not at all visible, ठीक है. And then when they are entering into this Punjab, so very less time was left for the preparation, ठीक है. So very less time was left for the preparation. As such, any ruler of the any ruler who is there in Delhi, he would not like, any ruler would not like that fight must happen in his capital. So what they did, that swiftly they are moving their army and everything to the nearby location, okay? That so that the army can move swiftly, and this nearby location was the Panipat, 120 kilometers from Delhi. So two benefits of it, that battle will not happen in the capital, and moreover it is a plain area, okay? So it is a plain area which provides then equal space to the both the people, okay? And it depends upon the whose strength is there, who is employing good strategies, and then he would be victorious. Then another very important part is that supply of the food. So Punjab and Haryana, okay? So Punjab and Haryana, we say that these two are the breadbasket of India. So there was ready supply of the food for both the armies, okay? That's why it is a preferred location. Then water. So Panj river, Punjab, okay? So Punjab means Panch river. So 5 rivers there, that water was also there, it was there. Yamuna river, it was also supplying the water. So there was water. But the one which is not mentioned, this entire area, Panipat to just take name hai, okay? But this entire area which includes Panipat, Karnal, okay? Sonipat, okay? Kurukshetra, Hastinapur. So these all areas, they are considered as the Dharma Kshetra, okay? So going by the mythology, it was a notion among the rulers that whoever wins the battle in the Dharma Kshetra, okay, he would be the ruler of this India. So as it has happened in the battle of the Mahabharata, okay? So there was a war between the Dharma and Adharma, okay? And then whoever, the one who was victorious, he was the king of this country. So this is a notion that if you win a battle in the Dharma Kshetra, so then this entire country would be yours. That was also one historical fact which was driving the people to fight the battle over here. Then the weapon part that we mentioned, that there were large number of artisans who were here, okay, in this area, they were supplying the weapons. So supply of the weapons was there. But now I would add another dimension to this question, that why those people who were victorious, okay, they were invaders. So another dimension is that their invisibility, okay? Their invisibility till this point of time, which gave very less time for the Mughals, for the Delhi Sultanate rulers to prepare for the war, okay? And this less time for them worked in the benefit of the invaders, okay? So this is how it is there. I hope you got that. Likho. So mention third battle of Panipat, na? So you have not written a single word. So first you write about the Maratha strategy. So you write that Marathas had the capacity to create an all India empire, but they didn't had any intention. To create all India empire. Okay. Full stop, you write. Their policy rarely went beyond. The collection of chauth from the newly annexed areas. Done? From the newly annexed areas. Except Malwa and Khandesh. There was not a single semblance of administration, SEMBLANCE, semblance of administration in newly annexed areas. In newly annexed areas. Full stop. As such, a heavy blow, was dealt, D-E-A-L-T, dealt to Maratha by Abdali, in 1761. ठीक है? In 1761. Change paragraph and then you write. In battle, Marathas were defeated and they suffered heavy casualties. Along with the death of Sadasiv Rao Bhau and Peshwa's son Vishwas Rao. Full stop. When the news of defeat reached to Peshwa, he died because of shock. Okay? So he died because of shock. Okay? Then you mention, change paragraph and you write, as such, the Panipat battle did not decided who would rule India, but rather who would not. Then it therefore paved the way for the rise of British power in India. Full stop. Now listen. So altogether new thing we are going to start. Though already writing an assignment is a new thing to you, but I am going to change this strategy of this by introducing some new aspect to the answer writing or basically assignment writing. So it's the first one which we are going to practice, but I will give you two choices. Okay? Two questions I am going to give you. You need to choose that which one you are going to write. Only one you will be writing. Okay? The assignment code for the question would be same for both, but when you are writing the answer, write question number 1, question number 2. Okay? So that's how you will be writing. So meanwhile, you write your registration number, your name, everything. I will write the question on board. So question number 1. So this is the question number 1. But second also I am giving you assignment. Sugam, you can send assignment code on phone. Okay, sure. I'll write. हाँ अभी आया अभी आया अभी आया. So decide in this 2 questions which you are going to write, okay? And when you're writing the answer, so write question number 1, then answer, question number 2, the answer, okay? And this is the assignment code for both, 200 works, 10 marks. So since this is the first assignment, I am giving you 15 minutes today, okay? And strict 15 minutes. So now, and online people also, what you need to do, that the way you write assignments at home, write in the same way, and you will have to upload the way it is you are uploading every day. Okay? So same strategy. Your time starts now. No. Question is in front of you. You wish to write, you can write. It is up to you. You can write without question also. It's up to you. Start writing. And please don't copy from your phones, otherwise I will take your phone, I will take it to my home. Yeah, I have seen morning के क्लास में मैंने किया था 2-3 लोगों का फोन, अच्छे फोन थे, महंगे थे इसलिए रख लिया मैंने. किसी वर्ड की मीनिंग अगर जो नहीं क्लियर है, आस्क मी. These 2 words, beset means affected in a negative way, wrong way, and spectre meaning that it was a full frame visible, ठीक है, fully visible, ठीक है. You have 7 minutes. 8 minutes over. You have 7 minutes. Four and a half minutes. Yes. Of you have not written assignment code, please write. And your name with your registration number. And anyone who is complete with the answer, raise your hand. Wait, 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 wait. So you have last 1 minute. So I will not be able to read. Let me read these all. Uh, One minute. Thirty seconds. I'll not be able to read. अब मैं कलेक्ट ही कर लूंगा. अब तो रीड करना ज़्यादा हो जाएगा. So now is the time. Please pen down, submit. All of you. दे दो, दे दो. Your pen. Give it to me. एक साथ कलेक्ट कर लो ना सब लोग. कलेक्ट करके मुझे दे दो. From this side. एक साथ कलेक्ट कर लो. This side. All of it. Which one you have written? First one. First one. Prashant? Who is Prashant? You are. Okay, this one is yours. And the answer seems to be good. एक साथ ले लो ना, उधर से भी दे दो. Please submit all the assignments either you have written or not. Don't keep it in your bags. Given? All of you? This side? This one also. ठीक है, चलेगा. What is important is writing the answer. Not the word limit, not the time you have taken. I already gave you enough time. चलो. अरे बैठ जा भाई. वाओ, अच्छा, गुड. बट listen, I just want to make a survey. How many of you have written the first question? Raise your hands. A good number of people. And the second one? Obviously rest of the people. So majority of the people have written the second one. Why you guys have not chosen this first question? You are not able to? ये कैसे हो सकता है? You are not able to understand. Everything you have read and then you have read very crystal clear way. So I gave you opportunity to just ask me that what you haven't understood. But अब तुम आंसर पूछोगे थोड़ी बताऊंगा, ठीक है? So just I will give you the little bit of glimpse of the first question and the second question, that what you needed to write in these all. So just listen. When we are talking about the 18th century India, 1700 to 1899, that's the period we are asking. So in this period, what has happened in this period, actually that fits into the category. You don't need to, even if you don't look at the spectra and Bassett, then also you know that what got fragmented at this point of time. So death of the Aurangzeb, and after the death of the Aurangzeb, rise of the regional powers, okay? And these regional powers, okay, successor state, rebellious state, okay? Necessarily you don't need to write their name, ki ek successor ye rebellious, but you needed to write about their formation, that how they came to power. And there was a confrontation all the time. Then there was a centralized rule before 1700, but now it is a fragmented rule or decentralized rule. But with this decentralized rule, there is a hell lot of confrontation between the regional rulers also, and then the Britishers also, the Europeans also. So it has further paved the way for the rise of the British rule. Wherever there was a conflict between the two Indian rulers, the benefit was taken by the British, okay, who interfered in the situation, and they have taken the benefit. So on this angle, you needed to write the first question, and second question was very straightforward. So the second was very straightforward. It asked that consequences of the Plassey battle. Whatever that you have written, if you guys have written on that line, consequences of the Plassey battle, and I hope you understand that what is sponsored state. What is sponsored state? Obviously that it is the British who are appointing the rulers, okay? So the first sponsored ruler of the Bengal was Mir Zafar, okay? But when you are sponsoring something, okay, when you sponsor something, you get benefits in return. So what they got in benefit? So they got in benefit zamindari right. They got in they got indemnity, war indemnity prize. They got some bribes, some donations, okay? And they started to screw off the Bengal rulers. And then the Battle of Plassey has happened, and then the money which we have mentioned, they were able to maintain the army. So these all consequences you needed to mention in this one, okay? That Bengal was looted up to a great extent by after this Battle of Plassey, okay? So it was a simple question, but the question number 1 was the question from the mains examination. So you have been tested on the mains examination question, and question number 2 was also from the mains examination, okay? Not recently. Yes, so not recently. So question number 2 was also from the mains examination way back, okay? So when you are writing, and listen, it doesn't matter that how much marks you get. What was important today, that to write. To write, and it doesn't matter that how many words you have written. It matters that you have started writing. So putting you in that sphere where you start writing and give you a little bit of push so that you must start writing. That is important. And I think you are feeling good after writing. Is it true? And this is how it would be beneficial to you. Many a times you will not be. We have a tendency, I know, that we have a tendency that when we are forgetting, we will flip through the pages and then we will try to copy it. It's nothing wrong with it because it's a human tendency. But this option would not be available to you in the mains examination. So you need to curb those tendencies also in the class itself, okay? At your home itself, and that's how you will be much more confident in the mains examination. So today was the beginning, but from here onwards, 3rd or 4th class, there would be one assignment. Okay? Chalo, thank you for today. Meet you Saturday with the rest of the topic.